Well, what up, everybody? Welcome to another Kitchen Table TCG market update. Hope you're having a great day. We're celebrating 1,000 subscribers today, so thank you so much to all of you who have subscribed. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Mitch over at Midtown Merchant. You guys know me and Mitch, we're best friends. Love him. Dude is awesome. He's solid. If you're going to buy cards, buy them from him. And use the promo code JustLove10. That's a one-time use, saves you 10%, and patrons have access every month. All the patrons of mine get another 10% off code. So pretty awesome. And then if you can't find cards, head over to TCG Player. Use the link in the description. But hey, I do want to say one quick thank you to all the patrons. All my patrons get access to a collection tracker. The collection tracker looks something like this, and they can put all their numbers in there, and then at the end, it tells them a value for each set. And then if you go to the very end, all the promos are in there or whatever, the total value, you can see the total value of your collection. So thanks to all the patrons. But before we get any further, I want to celebrate 1,000 subscribers. So if you head over to my new website, cavdainsmarket.com, you can click right here at celebrate 1,000 subscribers, and you can get an entry into what we're going to do on Thursday night at 9 p.m. We're going to celebrate 1,000 subscribers by opening up a box of WTR Alpha, and we're going to talk about Alpha right now. And then we're going to give away one pack from WTR Alpha, and then we're going to open up a whole box of Arcane Rising Unlimited. We're going to give away all 24 packs. So by signing up, it will give me your email, your address, so I can just ship out all the cards to you. I don't have to worry about you getting back with me or whatever. And this is how we're going to do all those entry tickets. So make sure you head over to cavdainsmarket.com to get yourself entered there, and then join us on Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when we open up that box. And thank you to my patron who sent me the box to open for him and who gave us a pack of Alpha. He even said if we pull a heart that it's still given away. So pretty incredible. All right, let's go ahead and hop into Unlimited. So currently a box's price of Unlimited are getting a little spicy. I've got them at $125, and honestly on eBay they're selling higher than that. But if you hit a TCG Player, you can still get them for around $125, and that doesn't include shipping. So it's about the best price that I've seen lately. I do know there are potentially some people on the Facebook Marketplace who have them a little bit cheaper. So make sure you shop around for that. Let's go ahead and go on over to talking about the heart. And so the heart for Unlimited, I've got at $525. Let me show you a sold listing though. There was a sold listing at $442, and this was an auction, but the same day there was one at $600. So I'm not really sure what happened there. So I kind of split the price in the middle. So make sure again, you do your own research, and you think if you're going to buy or sell, you kind of decide what the cost is based on the time that you're buying or you're selling. So I put it at $525. And you could probably utilize that as like a sale price if you're looking to buy one, to try to get one a little bit cheaper than that. If you were selling one, I would not go cheaper than that though, because of the other kind of obvious prices around $600 mark. So anyway, let's continue. Let's go on to the Legendaries. We had some spiciness in the Legendaries this week. Actually, 2 weeks in a row that we were up around 8 to 9%. And one of the spiciest things this week was Brave Forge Bracers all of a sudden seeing like a huge increase. And there were like 3 sold at this price point on eBay. And TCG Player, these were the only higher price was listed. So very, very interesting to see that specific card spiking. And that's putting it up kind of close with like the Mask of Momentum, which has always been kind of the highest class specific card. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Meanwhile, Tectonic Plating still sitting at $95, Scab Skin Leathers at around $100, and then the Tunic not moving up too much, but all in all around a 9% increase. And look at that nice S curve that we're seeing here. Just shows a lot of health, in my opinion, in the market, that when more boxes come in, the prices dip a little bit, and then when the boxes dry up, the prices go back up. So I think it's a really, really healthy market going on even with the Legendaries, which are typically harder to find. All right. So let's go to the Majestic Rainbow Foils. So your average Legendary is sitting at around $156. So let's go to Majestic Rainbow Foils. Enlightened Strike, kind of an interesting card the last couple weeks. I remember I bought one for $115 last week. This week, can't really get them that cheap. I've been trying to get another one for around $115, honestly. There's one on TCG Player at like $125, and there are some sold listings at around the $120 range. I should just pay the extra $5 and get another one. But anyway, all the other cards kind of sitting pretty good. Ancestral Empowerment, though, kind of a weird card. Last week we had some sold listings around the $22 range on TCG Player, and now all of a sudden they're selling now for $39 on TCG Player. And there's not currently, at the time of me making this, there's not one listed for less than that. So I thought that was interesting that that specific card has started to gain additional traction as well. Let's see, was there anything else? Crippling Crush was down a little bit. And then Tome of Fandale still sitting around $62. All in all, we saw a 9% increase, which was kind of a recorrection from last week. We saw 9%. Look at that. 9% increase, 9% decrease, 9% increase. Kind of crazy. So that's what that kind of trajectory and graph looks like. Your average Majestic Rainbow Foil is sitting around $34. Let's go to the Majestics. This is the non-foil. Really no change. I mean, look at how completely flatlined that is. There's nothing really to write home about. Enlightened Strike still sitting around $60, $62. Tome of Fandale still sitting about $29. You know, I think this really shows the health of the game, that these cards that are high play percentage, cards that are played super often, are just kind of flatlined, and they're not, like, the demand is there for them, but they're not overprinted. You know, if this was a Magic the Gathering set, this line would start out like this, and then it would just kind of trail down because the demand never matches the amount of supply that enters the market, and you'd have specific cards spiking. But it's crazy to me that all these cards, like the average price of the cards, are still kind of sitting pretty flatline, pretty healthy market. I don't know why people think it's a bubble. It's kind of crazy. There are people playing this game and that love this game, and the cards are selling because people are making decks. So, all right, let's go to the super rares. Your average Majestic is sitting around $16. Let's go to the super rares. This is the rainbow foils. The rainbow foil super rares have been a little soft over the last couple of weeks. We're down, 1 or 2% the last couple of weeks, down 10% about a month ago. These are just so much more common than the Majestics and the Majestic rainbow foils, really. And so they just tend to be a little bit softer, and they're obviously, everything has its place. But I mean, kind of look at your trajectory. No great changes this week. I guess it is kind of nice that it's been flatlined over the last couple weeks, but we're still seeing some softening in the market. Your average rainbow foil super rare is sitting at around $4. But what I want to highlight is that the regular super rares are just not doing super well, and we saw this with Arcane Rising too. That some of these cards, I mean, like 25 cents for a super rare, right? 40 cents for a super rare. Another 25-cent super rare. They're just really, really soft unless they are really good. Like the Warrior ones are still sitting at $2 or $3. And then obviously Remembrance is sitting at up there and a little bit higher. So all in all, they're like a 12% decrease this week, and super, super soft. As more and more boxes get opened, and there's 4 of these in every box, just seems like they're not as played, they're not as desirable. And I think that's a result of the commons being so strong in Flesh and Blood, and the super rares just almost can't keep up with some of those cards that are even better at a lower rarity. But interesting that your average price is sitting around $2 for the non-foil super rares. All right, so the rainbow rare foils. Remember, on the foil, all the rares and commons, I just use TCG low price. I don't actually use the sold listings. So sellers have lowered their price about 2% on the rainbow foil rares, and on the non-foil rares, sellers have lowered their price about 3%. Kind of your highlights here are always like the potions and the Sigil of Solace, and nothing else really has a ton of value. The commons, the kind of only things to highlight are the equipment pieces, which are no change really. I mean, look at this, like it's so consistent. Sellers just keeping the prices at $450, $850 for the refraction bolters. I mean, all these prices are, let's find where a lot of them are. I don't know why this is always red. Anyway, Snapdragon Scalers sitting around $6. I mean, everything's sitting around $5 to $6. So your average common foil is sitting around $8. At the end of this video, if you want to add, if you believe that you get one in every box, if you want to add like $6 to the expected value, you could probably do that. I'm just not entirely convinced that they aren't short printed, so I don't want to say specifically. So it's just an interesting thing. Let's go ahead and get to the EV Calc. If you were to open a box of WTR Unlimited, and you were only opening one box, you'd be sitting at around $72.64. But if you were to open 40 boxes, your average price would sit more into the $125. I'm going to skip this song because there's some voices there. So your average price would sit at around $125 if you were to open 40 boxes, because remember, you get this chance at the Fabled that's built in here, your chances at Legendaries are built into that price, and your chances at the foil Majestic are built into that price. So at opening only one box, your chances of getting those things are just much less. So I don't include that in the if you were to open one box price. All in all, though, $124.86. Let's go ahead and compare that to where we were last week. Last week we were at $125, so really no change in the overall market of the cards. As a whole, they haven't moved very much. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into alpha. And before we do and get into the first edition stuff, I always like to say everything that I'm sharing here is just the market data, and I'm going to try to keep any of my opinions out of the discussion. If you're interested in more of my opinions on like investing and what I would be doing, I do have a podcast in my Patreon at the $15 tier. It's kind of for the more higher up people, and the only extra thing that gets you is this podcast that's called If I Were Investing, and it's kind of my opinions on what's happening and what I believe to be undervalued in the market based on the data that I acquire every week. Everything else on the Patreon is at the $5 tier. All right, let's get into it. So, oh man, this is going to be fun. This is going to be a good time. All right, let's go to sealed. So currently sealed box prices are sitting at around 4,000. Let's pull up the sales this week. So we did have some, we did have some sell at 4,000. We had some at 3,750. We had some at 3,600. This one was kind of a lower condition box. We had one right at $4,000 and one at 38. What did I say that I was spending? I'm going to leave it at 4,000. It's a little bit down from last week. Essentially is what you need to see. There has been some retracements as we had this kind of all-time high sell last week. But the $4,000, if you were selling a box, I would think you could expect to get around that price. So that's where I left it. All right, we're going to talk about the Fabled, okay? So Heart of Fandel, there hasn't been any public sales this week, but I have a very trusted source, and I usually don't use, like, if people PM me and say, hey, I bought Heart of Fandel for X amount of money, I usually don't use that. Like, I usually try to only use public data unless somebody shoots me, like, a screenshot or, like, a evidence of their sale. Now, I have a person that I'm not allowed to say who it is, but I very much trust them, that has a confirmed sale of a Heart of Fandel that is between $25,000 and $30,000, and I very much trust them, and I know that they are not trying to manipulate data, and so I am going to go ahead and include that, because currently in the market, the lowest Heart of Fandel that you can get for cold foil on eBay is $50,000, and the lowest one on TCG Player is $40,000. So I completely believe this person. I've had lots of good conversations with them, and they are informing me that a non-graded Heart of Fandel in very, very pristine condition has sold between $25,000 and $30,000. And what I am understanding from this is that the intention is to get it graded, and they believe that it will get the same grade as the one that sold a couple days ago at the $27,000 mark. That was graded. So just keep that in mind. Just wanted to throw that out there, that this is not the public data that you're used to, but I very, very much trust the source of this data. Also, I own 0 Hearts of Fandel. I don't have $25,000 to my name to spend on a Heart of Fandel. Just sharing that with you, that's the info. So let's continue them. That's obviously a huge spike and some big numbers increasing in that card. All right, let's go to the Legendaries. This week, the Legendaries, we saw a 9% retracement. There was a tunic sold. Did I pull that one up? I don't think I pulled that one up. There was a tunic that sold for $2,800. It was a similar seller, if you remember my ARC video from yesterday, that the seller didn't have really great photos. So I didn't want to put it down to 28, but the market is definitely softer on it. There's currently only the lowest listed, though, on TCG on eBay is at $10,000. So kind of put this one in red because I don't really know what to do with it. I'm not seeing a ton of movement on it. I'm not seeing a ton of offerings on it. That one did sell for $2,800 this week. But it looked to be in good condition to me on the photos, but there was only one photo. So anyway, other things that moved: Scabskin Leathers, that was a sold listing on eBay. Tectonic Plating, that was a sold listing on eBay, and Mask and Momentum, another one at $1,900. And then Brave Forge Bracers up again, and that card's kind of twice now. That card's gone up, sitting at $1,500. So all in all, your average and your legendary is down pretty much just based on the tunic, though. And so keep that in mind. Actually, the tectonic plating was down too. So keep that in mind that this tunic price, if I was selling a tunic, I would not sell it for $3,000 if I owned one. I would kind of look back at this $4,000 one that sold last week and kind of be utilizing that more. But there was a sold listing at $2,800. It was public and it looked to be in decent condition. So all in all, minus 9% this week. That's our graph there, right? You can kind of see how it moves. Let's go on to the cold foils. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We had 7 cold foils sell that I saw in the marketplace this week, and all were at or above the market prices from last week. Other than Iron Rock Helmet was down to 110, and Barkbone was down about $10. But everything was selling at around the same prices as last week, so the other prices should be pretty stable as well. And that puts your average cold foil common sitting at around $160. It was funny. I was talking to somebody this week who was like, I remember when those were $3 and they're in the bulk bin. So I think some more are actually still trickling out from people who are digging them up in their bulk bins and their bulk areas. But all in all, a 2% growth, and we're starting to see, we had a great increase. We had some kind of leveling and some decreases, and now things are starting to flatten out on those cold foil commons. So let's go to the Majestic Rainbow Foils. This is where stuff gets spicy. If you are just kind of listening to me right now, you might want to start paying attention because there's some cool stuff happening. It's been a super cool week this week. I love this stuff. So all the green stuff is new sale prices. A $625 sale on a Crippling Crush. Look at this on TCG Player. Last sold listing, $625. This is the seller tools. $625 sold public sale listing of a Crippling Crush. And then an additional one, a Glint Quicksilver sold on Facebook for $350. That kind of solidified that price point. And I didn't have it in red, but I did have it. Sorry. But a Toma Fayendale sold for $1,000 on TCG Player as well. Look at that. So Toma Fayendale selling for $1,000 for the Majestic Rainbow Foil. And so the other biggest thing, if you were anywhere on the Facebook Marketplace this week, you saw there were actually two Enlightened Strikes Rainbow Foils that were sold. And one of them sold for $35. Let me see if I'm remembering this right. One of them either sold for $3,000 and that was cash. And I think another one sold that it was valued at $3,500 with $1,500 in trade. Sorry, $1,500 in cash and $2,000 in trade. So sitting at $3,500. The rest of them, people are starting to shoot for $5,000 for like a near mint pristine one. I think our next sale of one will probably end up being a graded, like a 9.5 or 10.0. If they get a 10.0, I'd be surprised. Sorry, we'll probably see a graded 9.5 eventually. And that'll be crazy to see what the price of that is. So all in all, because of these major sales here, we're up 37%. And you can see that spike. Anytime we get more data like that, it causes a spike. And these other cards will kind of start seeing some more data coming in the next couple of weeks because these kind of solidify the market price of all the cards. All in all, your average is sitting at $730.90 for this Majestic Rainbow Foils. The regular Rainbow Foils the regular Majestics are also up. I did want to highlight kind of the only thing that's really important to highlight. We had Alpha Rampage sell for $50, Lord of the Wind, whatever, is that we had Enlightened Strikes selling for $275. Now, last week, there were 5 Enlightened Strikes on the Facebook Marketplace at $175 each for 2 days. They didn't sell at all. I did this video last week, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go buy 3 of them. There was 3 of them for $500, right? I was like, I'm going to go buy those 3 cards because I think that's low based on this data. I messaged the guy, and he had just sold them. They were on the market for 2 weeks, or for 2 days. So for 2 days, there were 5 at $175, and then all of a sudden this week, they just started selling like crazy, and now the market price is at like $275 to $300. And I've seen like 4 or 5 of them sell this week at this new price. So Toma Fayendale also sold at $175, and that jumped us up another 20%, 21%, mostly because of Enlightened Strike and the difference between last week where there were 5 of them on the market and this week where everybody seemingly wanted to buy it. I bet you that has something to do with the Majestic Rainbow Foil Enlightened Strike selling, giving it a lot of attention. The super rare Rainbow Foils, did I tell you your average price? $72. I don't like this song either. We're adding music to this. Let me know if you think about it. A guy texted me and said, hey, maybe try this different music instead. So I'm trying that style. But we'll see. Anyway, so it wasn't just a guy. It was a good friend that I met on Discord, hanging out in our Discord server for our patron Discord group. It's been a lot of fun talking about music. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to the super rares. Your average Majestic is sitting at $72. Super rare rainbow foils, nothing really to write home about. Kind of equal price points based on other data from last week. Only a 1%, but it's kind of nice to have 5 cards sell at the price that I'm saying the cards are at, because that kind of solidifies that as market prices. All in all, about -1%. You can see the graph is just it's pretty even. The super rares actually saw a 9% increase from a decrease last week. But again, no like giant things that really we need to discuss. $14 for Reckless Swing, another sale, $20 for Singing Steel Blade. Some of these are selling in packs of 3 on eBay. Is kind of what I'm doing, and I just divide the price by 3. So keep that in mind, that maybe there's a discount, or I actually think if you sell in a pack of 3, you should get a little bit more money because you're getting them all from one seller. So I would pay a little bit more for a play set of cards from a seller. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're at 9% of an increase. And then the rares, remember, I just take the TCG low price. The sellers have lowered their prices by 6%. Kind of the highlights there are obviously the potions and the red sigil. And then the rare, sorry, your average rainbow foil rare is at $27. Look at that graph. I mean, that's a pretty good looking graph in my opinion if you are a collector of alpha cards. The regular rares, your average regular rares, it's down a lot, about $2.68. So sellers have tanked their prices by 29% here. And, still like your Sigil Solus, I mean, that price is, compared to the rainbow foil, no, never mind. That price is still pretty high. But remember, this is just TCG lowest priced. These aren't sold listings. So sellers have lowered their price 29%. All right, let's get to what you're here for, the EV. Before we get there, let me just remind you to go to Cavdane's Market and to celebrate my 1,000 subscriber. Get yourself an entry ticket. It's free. We're going to be opening a booster box of alpha. You're going to potentially get 1 pack of that, and then you're going to potentially get one of 24 packs of Arcane Rising. So we're going to be giving away 25 packs total, and it'll be cool to actually see if we hit anything close. I might run the EV calc, but we'll see if we actually run anything close to this EV here. So here we go. Your box EV, if you were to open 40 boxes and sell all the common cards, you'd be sitting at $2,200. $2,203. But if you were to take out all the non-foil commons, you would be sitting at $2,018.91. Those are hard numbers to say. So that's kind of the price that we track. But then if you were to take out the legendary, you don't hit a legendary, you don't hit a fabled, and you don't sell your non-foil commons, your expectation is still around $961. Now the only thing is that also includes the foil Majestic, which could also not happen because that's 1 every 4 boxes. But that's kind of, you got to include something, right? So that's kind of the box EV. And this is the number we tracked, this 2018. So let's compare that to last week. We are up 7%, and that's 3 weeks in a row that we've seen alpha cards trending up. So very, very interesting. Anyway, that was a great market update. I loved it. I thought it was super insightful this week. There was a lot of information, a lot of sold listings. Thank you to those of you who are selling cards. Hey, remember to sign up for the 1,000 subscriber celebration. Thank you all so much for subscribing, hitting the like button, commenting, partaking in this community. I really enjoy it. I can't wait to celebrate with you on Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, and make sure you get yourself into this. And then also, if you're still here, maybe you actually care about the channel. We actually have Kitchen Table TCG merch. We've got whale shirts. The whale shirts cost more money than the dolphin or the lucky fish or the sea crustacean shirts because whales have more money. But you can get yourself a sea crustacean shirt. I have a series called Whale, Dolphin, or Lucky Fish. And anyway, hope you have a good day. Make sure you head over there and subscribe and celebrate this. I can't say this anymore. It's been a long video. We'll talk to you there. Be kind to the people around you.